In ratios, there are various types of questions that can be found. However, the primary question will always be around combining the multiple ratios. For example, the first thing starts with combining the ratios. Like, for example, let's take an example of a class of 3 classrooms in a school. Let's say there are 3 classrooms which are named as A, B, and C. The ratio of the number of students between classes A and B is represented as 2 by 3. The ratio of the students between the classes B and C is represented as 4 by 5. And the question also mentions that the total number of students when all the 3 classes are combined is found to be 140. Then find the number of students in classroom A or classroom B or classroom C. That's the first and primary type of question. So here the question says when all the 3 classes are combined. If the classes have been combined, that means A should be compared with both B and C, only then we can find out that how many students are being contributed by class A, by class B and by class C. So the objective basically becomes combining the two ratios here. So here, how do we combine the ratio? Let's just learn this. To combine any two ratios, I write the numbers of the ratios right below those variables. For example, the ratio of A by B is 2 by 3. Then I write 2 below A and 3 below B. That's one ratio. The second ratio of B and C is given as 4 by 5. So I write 4 below the B and 5 below the C. Now the basic understanding while combining the ratios is, see, the first ratio tells us that B has to be a multiple of 3. And the second ratio tells us that B has to be a multiple of 4. To combine the ratio, we should have one such common variable. If there is nothing common, obviously we can't combine them. Here we have B common. In the first ratio, B tells us that B is a multiple of 3. In the second ratio, it says it's a multiple of 4. So we have to think of a number which satisfies both these conditions, which is a multiple of 3 as well as a multiple of 4. So the first number that we can think of is 12, which is the least common multiple of these two numbers. Now the ratio also tells us that if you multiply something in the first ratio, in any part of the ratio, the same number should be multiplied with every part of the ratio. Only then the ratio remains the same. Which means what I am saying is, if A by B is 2 over 3 and if you are multiplying x in denominator, you must multiply x in numerator also, only then the ratio remains the same. To convert this 3 into 12, I am multiplying this by 4. So I also need to multiply 2 also by 4 so that it becomes 8, only then the ratio remains same. And similarly, to convert this 4 into 12, I have multiplied this 4 by 3, so I should multiply this entire ratio by 3. So C becomes 15, 5 times 3. Now we understand that when A is 8, B will be 12 and C will be 15. So that's a ratio. So the other understanding is, we can also say that if the value of A is represented by 8x, where x is some common factor, then the value of B will be 12x and the value of C will be 15x. But it's already given that the total students in all the 3 classes combined, which means sum of all 3 of them, is equal to 140, which we understand is 35x is 140, x becomes 4, and if the question says how many students are in class A, then we can say 32. In class B, that becomes 48, and in class C, it becomes 60. Another way to interpret the same ratio is that out of these 15, the contribution of B is given by 12. That means B could also have been identified this way: 12 out of 35 of 140 is B. If we solve this, once again we get the same answer. It was just a second way to look at the same information. The ratios should be looked at by both the methods as per your convenience. So So this is the first exercise of combining the ratios.